All right, folks, how you doing? So after I wrap up the current series of Commons Beaumont presentations and Mars Atlantis and the Hollow Earth, I'm going to be moving on to another fantastic book, When Scotland Was Jewish, by Elizabeth Caldwell Hirschman and Donald Yates. And it's a fascinating book. I really do recommend getting it. You know, you're able to get it for free online, but I still bought a paper copy because I thought it was that good. In fact, I've actually bought it twice. I bought one for myself and I bought one for a friend of mine after he, really did me a solid, So I paid him back by giving him this book. I'm a very proficient reader. I thought he'd really enjoy this book. And even though it cost me 50 quid, I still bought it, because, I thought so highly of the guy. If people take an interest in this stuff, I'd do anything for them, and it's a really good book that explores what I call the Judeo-Norman connection, because a lot of these families that we're talking about, um, you know, uh, these Norman families that came into Scotland with King David the First of Scotland, they were Norman, but they were also Jewish. So that's why I call them Judeo-Norman, because they're a mixture of the two. So they're neither one nor the other, strictly speaking, but they're actually kind of an amalgamation of both of them. So they're mixed between those two different bloodlines, and it's very interesting when you tie that into everything that Beaumont was saying as well about the Jews really came from Europe. They're not an Asiatic race at all, and all that, which is a very controversial opinion. And I'm not even saying that he's necessarily right. But then you've got what Michael Tazarian says in his presentations and what he says on Unslaved. And then you've also got the opinion of David Icke that really, they came up from the Middle East and Sumer, which is the much more conventional opinion. I'm not saying any of these guys are right or wrong. Who knows? It's all open to interpretation. You know, what all I'm doing is presenting it. I'm not telling anyone what to think. I'm not telling anyone this guy is right and this guy is wrong. I can tell you what I think, but I can't tell you what to think. I can only present it and let you draw your own conclusions. But certainly an invaluable piece of the puzzle is when Scotland was Jewish. Because the Sephardic Norman families really took over Scotland, and I don't think there's a man, woman, or child in Scotland today who doesn't have Sephardic blood in them to some extent, including myself. I'm descended from Clan Fraser on my father's side, which is interestingly both Ashkenazi and Sephardic, which is unusual. Most of them are just Sephardic. But it's very interesting. So we'll get into that. And I'm currently taking the notes and preparing it now. And I'm really looking forward to doing it because it's fascinating stuff, and it's from the Jewish perspective as well. That's the other thing that makes it very, very valuable. I'd say even invaluable is, this is from the perspective of two Jewish authors who are presenting this. So, whereas other sources like David Icke or Commons Beaumont and even Michael Tazarian are not Jewish. I think Michael's half Indian, half Irish. Uh, David Icke, pure English. Commons Beaumont sounds like Norman. So he could be of that lineage himself, or was. He's long since passed on by now. But it's very interesting because to have the Jewish point of view on this, whereas all the other perspectives I've presented before or recommended have not been Jewish, but this one is. So very interesting indeed, and hopefully it fills in a few of the puzzle pieces for those who are watching these videos. Fascinating information. I love this book to death. I wish there were more books like it. Like I say, you can get it for free on archive.org, and I still bought it twice because I thought so highly of it. I always prefer to have paper copies whenever possible. Always like to reward people for their work as well. Same with David Icke. You can get most of his books on archive.org, but I bought paper copies of pretty much all of them, because I just prefer having the physical book. But anyway, that'll be a good series. Thank you for watching and take care.